Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I want to start off by saying that any and all thoughts and opinions are just that, thoughts and opinions. In no way am I sharing professional advice when it comes to physical and mental health. These videos are simply for fun and to provide my thoughts on the topic. Do not send any hate to anyone I talk about, and please be kind in the comments. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing some more Amberlynn content. Just a heads up, I am sick. I woke up 2 days ago feeling like death, but I'm still trying my best to get through the day, and I'm going to try getting through these videos as well. So let's get into the video, shall we?
Hey guys, it's Alexis, and today I will be doing a Q&A part 2. I also will be discussing the pumpkin spice buzzball allegations,
Does she really need to address the allegations about a text over a drink?
the conversation I had with ALR's former roommate Eric, and the highly scandalous 2024 Cookie Gate. Today I come bearing answers, screenshots, and enough hot orange chicken from Panda Express to feed all of Oklahoma City.
The thing that genuinely annoys me about Alexis is the fact that she's trying so hard to be in on a joke, knowing full well that she spent a whole year being friends with Amber. Like, you knew what she was, you know what she does, and you know who she was going after, and you essentially still chose to be her friend. Like, to some point, it's sort of encouraging, and it's like, how the fact that you're going to essentially throw shade at her now when you were standing by her only weeks ago. It also genuinely speaks to your character as a person and your morals as a person by, changing it up only when Amber decides to toss you away. You're no longer useful to her, so now you feel some type of way and you want to throw shade at her. And it's like, well, it was perfectly fine when she was doing it when you were friends, but now, not so much, now that you're not friends.
Okay, so the first question is, how did y'all meet and become friends? When did your friendship start? So when Amberlynn and Jade ended their relationship, I was also going through a breakup that had happened maybe like 2 weeks after they broke up. And you guys are going to come for me when I tell you this, but quite frankly, I deserve it.
It was also rather obvious that you thought your emotional attachment to Amber was going to be more important than the validation Amber gets from a relationship, which, hate to break it to you, Amber only values the people who she dates. So as long as you're not in her pants, then she doesn't care.
Speaking of, shout out to FBI Frank. Woo! So anyways, yes, I did reach out to Amberlynn via Instagram, and it may have been a romantical situation type deal.
Surprise.
But after talking for a couple weeks, I was able to very quickly assess that I could not be in a long-term romantic relationship with Amber.
I mean, this is going to be a she said situation, so I agree to disagree. I honestly think you wanted to hit that and Amber didn't want you.
So we decided to be friends. And just for reference, this all took place in July of 2023. So after I had assessed that Amberlynn and I would not do well as partners, my ex-girlfriend and I had decided that we were going to try to make things work.
Is it just me, or does Alexis actually sound a lot like Amber, where it's like, well, my ex didn't work out, but I'll just go back to them until something better comes along because, this relationship with Amber didn't work out?
Especially because we were still in a lease together for another month. And when I kind of broke things off with Amber to try to rekindle my relationship with my ex-girlfriend, you can bet your bottom dollar she was super mad.
Alexis, honey, do you understand there is something called a friendship? You don't need to sleep with someone just because you're in close proximity and you have to live in the same house. It's called a friendship. Friendship. What the hell is wrong with these women?
So I guess technically you could say I was the first girl Amberlynn talked to after her relationship with Jade had ended. I know, but please don't cancel me for this. I can literally explain. The reason that I even messaged Amberlynn in the first place is because
I mean, it's easy. You were desperate and you wanted to seek validation from someone and you thought Amber would be a good source. You didn't realize Amber herself is a manipulator and you're two peas in the same pod, so you're fighting for control the entire time and it didn't work out. And again, I'm not defending Amber for her actions. She's just as bad in my opinion, but we can't leave Alexis out of the loop. You're both red flags and you both should be called out equally for your actions.
well, honestly, I was a viewer and I really didn't think she was going to respond to me. And then I was so starstruck after she messaged me back that I was like, yeah, I'm going to talk to her.
Starstruck about what? She's a morbidly obese woman who's stuck in a house 24/7 who abuses her friends, family, and animals. And the only reason she has any little bit of attention is because people watch her because it's like watching a house fire. It's horrendous to watch, but you can't look away because you have this morbid curiosity.
I had been watching Amberlynn since like maybe 2018.
Honestly, it's kind of embarrassing to admit that you watched Amberlynn Reid since 2018. That being said, I've never actually watched a Amberlynn Reid video from her channel itself. I think it was the very first one I actually watched was Repsion, who did a video on her, and then after that, it was Ready to Glare also did a video a couple of years ago, and then it autoplayed to I believe Karina Kaboom, which I kind of stuck around not because of the content itself, but because of her personality type. I think she's just funny and hilarious. And then after that, I started watching The Ankle, The Narcolet for a bit, and I also started watching Salty Crab, which their personalities are something that I match with. I kind of like a lot of their opinions and their takes. Not every single opinion, but the majority of them.
And when I first started watching her initially, I don't know, she kind of inspired me. As someone who is also a plus sized woman, I just really love to see her representation.
What the hell do you mean by representation? She's an abuser, she's a manipulator, she's morbidly obese because she chose to eat herself that way, she can't stick to a diet, she can't exercise for more than 5 minutes or even walk for 5 minutes without nearly blacking out because she's breathing that hard. She has literally ruined every relationship she has had with anyone, friends, family, partners. Her animals are in bad states themselves. She can't do the basic necessities such as going to the shops by herself, setting appointments by herself, or even really wiping her own ass. Like, what type of representation are you going to get out of that? Are you trying to say that you're just as useless as she is? Because, like, congratulations if you do. And the fact that you actually perceive her to be some sort of good representation is wild. Just, there is no other word that I can honestly say than just wild. I did not know that it was physically possible for me to dislike her any more than I already do. Like, first of all, plus size people don't need representation because you not being able to put the fork down or not going to the gym it does not need to be represented. That's you just choosing to be lazy or choosing you to wallow in your own poor coping mechanisms or your own boredom. Either put down the fork and go to the gym or grow the hell up and actually act like an adult and accept the fact that you made your own choices. And before people come at me, the laws of thermodynamics will always counter any sort of disability or type of disease you have. Yes, it may be harder, but just because an obstacle is harder to get overcome does not mean you just use that as an excuse not to try. Secondly, I myself used to be morbidly obese. Don't need a representation, never needed a representation. I didn't like the fact that I was morbidly obese because it is not healthy. I dealt with physical pain. I dealt with a lot of issues. I was incredibly insecure. I was dealing with my own poor mental health at the time. I am now far better than I was before. I have overcome my ED, the exact same ED that Amber has. So the fact that people are trying to, say that she's a positive representation are just idiots. You are a goddamn idiot. And I don't think there is a therapist on this earth. Hell, I don't even think God himself could conjure a miracle powerful enough to actually get you to see some sort of reason if you thought she was some sort of positive influence to the plus size community. You are both morons.
On a public platform. And she also checked off another one of my boxes because she was representing the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, I don't think she's a positive role model for the LGBT or the BPD community, primarily because she's just a terrible goddamn person, and I'm starting to realize how bad you are as a person too. Just because someone is lesbian or gay does not mean they are a representation of the community. They could be a detriment to the community and make the community look even worse than it currently is, because we have a lot of people within our community doing so much damage as is right now. And every single day that goes by, there is always more and more people doing worse things. I do not want Amber being a representation for our community. And the fact that you actually think essentially someone who's trying to create her own, isekai harem of women, married women, let alone women, is genuinely crazy to me. And just because someone is gay does not mean their representation is going to be good. Like, always choose someone for who they are and not what they are. And just because someone may be something does not mean what that is going to be a good aspect for the community or for you as a person. You do not want Amber representing you as a lesbian. Like, that is something nobody should ever strive for. And I repeat, always choose someone for who they are over what they are, because what they are is just an inherent trait that you are born with, or maybe a product of your environment, and that doesn't determine who you are as a person or your morals as a person. Actions will always speak louder than skin color or your gender or your sexuality or your disability. Your actions will always define you better as a person than those arbitrary traits.
But anyways, so we decided to remain friends, and we have been pretty close ever since, up until I made a decision and I set a boundary that if she's going to stay with Emily/Tommy, I'm not going to be her friend.
No, you didn't set a boundary, you set an ultimatum and you lost the ultimatum, so don't pretend like you set a healthy boundary, because that's not how you did it. You specifically said, I'm giving you one chance to choose me or her. That's not a boundary, that's an ultimatum. You lost and now you're upset. Your ego is hurt because you thought you were going to win and you didn't win.
And now it's really too late to ever be able to turn around and go back. I mean, it's gone too far. But honestly, I don't really need any more friends in my life who don't value me. A part of my journey and becoming a better version of myself and being true to me, I don't really need any more people in my life who don't have my best interests at heart.
Excuse me, but where exactly is the personal growth? Because I don't see any. You're currently playing petty on the internet by, threatening to expose a bunch of things simply because you didn't get your way. That's not personal growth, that's you being a toddler. On top of that, how exactly is Amber not wanting to be your friend not have your best interest in heart? Because at the end of the day, she doesn't owe you that. You're acting as if you are owed things. On top of that, yeah, I've also pointed it out, like, you also believe that you're entitled to her money, so I'm starting to believe, like, you are a very egotistical person. You're very self-serving. You believe that you're entitled to things that you're not entitled to, and you're just as bad as her. Like, honestly, you were two sides of the same goddamn coin, except the coin didn't even flip because you're just the same goddamn person at the same point. You just have a different face.
And especially someone that doesn't share the same values and morals that I have. The next topic I would like to discuss is the infamous crumble cookie gate of 2024.
At this point in time, my head is currently starting to throb, and I just don't really care. Like, if Amber wants to show her tatas while eating food, like, that's completely up to her. That's like, if Nikocado Avocado wants to do it, let them be. I really don't care at this point. Like, there are videos like that exist. I mean, Scandalous, the person that's dating a feeder does feeding content. Oh my god, like, surprise.
This comment talks about, oh lordy, it's Shorty's live stream, and how I had made a comment in his live stream saying that my thumbnail was a clip from a video that Amberlynn had personally sent me. The video starts off by her basically saying, okay, babe, like, this is a video just for you. And this was made for Erica, her former partner, aka Valentine. And the video initially starts out with her clothed and just kind of like eating the cookie and reviewing it. And then it very quickly turns into her shirtless, still with a bra on, but her shirtless and kind of getting like a little crazy, like having a little crazy moment with the crumble cookie. There is a portion of the video where Amberlynn is shirtless and essentially just kind of like groping herself. Shirt off, bra off, cookie down. It was kind of a cinematic masterpiece, I'm not gonna lie to you.
There is no way in hell in this God green earth that this Sheila just said that Amberlynn Reid get him to second base with a cookie is a cinematic masterpiece.
But disturbing nonetheless. And when she sent me this video, she literally made me FaceTime her to see my reaction and then proceeded to ask me if I liked it.
I'm way too sick for this crap. We got Amberlynn Reid getting to second base with the cookie. We got Alexis watching her get off to a cookie, and then we got Amber watching Alexis watching Amber get off to a cookie. Like, oh my god. I'm too tired and too sick for this crap. Why did I ever start thinking this would be a good idea to actually start reviewing these type of videos? What am I doing with my life?
And this all happened, mind you, on July 31st. So, very much while she was still supposedly so in love with Emily slash Tommy. So in love, but still sending essentially soft to your best friend.
I do understand that like there are some people who have weird relationships and will actually send those type of things to one another, asking for their like approval before they send it to their partner. Don't know why you would do that, but I mean, you do you, I guess. So I can somewhat understand Amber maybe wanting to do it, but Amber is doing it for obviously the wrong reason. Amber doesn't care about the relationship she has with people. She just wants approval. And the fact that you've actually got to watch someone watch it is that's a whole level of mental that I'm not gonna get into that.
Unsolicited because I did not and would not ask for that.
Alright, so I'm gonna give a point to I was gonna say Erica, but it's actually Alexis. I'm gonna give a point to Alexis here. If it was unsolicited, definitely never ever ever do that. But Amber was also saying that she did ask for that. So the easiest way to distinguish whether or not who's lying, just show the receipt. And the fact that you can show receipt and you have showed other people's receipts, with Eric and stuff like that, why won't you just show the receipt and prove it? Like I'm not gonna take either one of you as face values because as far as I'm concerned, I couldn't trust either of you as far as I could throw you, which honestly is not very far, so it's not very much trust I have for you.
The next moment I would like to talk about is the fact that Amberlynn's former roommate Eric messaged me on TikTok. Now, I'm not sure on specific dates, but Eric and Ricky did recently come to visit her, I believe within the last 3 months, 4 months. But again, this is an example of another friend on the back burner because she is in a relationship again.
Now, me personally, I don't like Eric or Ricky. I personally think they're a certain word that most Australians like to use, but I don't want to go through the effort of censoring it because I don't actually think they're worth the effort. I think they're two-faced, and I think they're horrible people too. Especially knowing what Amber has done to Beck, and you're still being, friends with her.
Now, I personally never really kept up with the content that included Eric and Ricky. I just didn't find it to be very interesting. So I don't really necessarily know the nature of their relationship per se. But from my point of view, these are just two more puppets in Amberlynn's puppet show that she can just pick up and set back down at her leisure.
Calm down, girl. You're one of them yourself, so you're throwing shade. Friendly fire isn't tolerated.
Now, I do understand that this could have been a setup. Since I have Amberlynn and Emily blocked on all of my socials, I could see maybe Amberlynn reaching out to him to reach out to me. But one thing about me is I don't say things behind people's backs that I wouldn't say to their face. I also just want to point out that I have a typo in the text that says, after the comment was named, she's intolerable to me. I meant to say, after that comment was made, but I am clearly illiterate. But I was also at work, so whatever. I wasn't really proofreading. Also, I'm sorry if I'm not giving you enough time to read the messages. So just go ahead and pause the video if you need to have more time to read it.
No shit.
I just got to keep the ball rolling because I have a couple other things that I want to talk about in this video. Also, message for Amber. If you move here and the inevitable happens, do not call me. I am not going to be your knight in shining armor, and I'm not going to come save you. So I strongly urge you to not move here if you are not 100 billion% completely sure that Emily slash Tommy is not going to f you over.
I mean, yeah, it's obvious that she's going to be screwed over. Whether or not she's going to survive is a completely different story, and only time will tell.
So this is the last screenshot and where the conversation ends for now. And I'm sorry there's not like a whole lot of like piping hot tea in this conversation, but I had mentioned that he reached out in my last video, so I felt like it was only right for me to show you guys what was said. So now I want to get into the infamous pumpkin spice buzzball conversation between Amber and I. Now, this conversation took place Saturday night after Amber and I spoke on her now deleted live stream. And after that live stream, I had gone to a concert. And while I was there, we were texting back and forth. And I thought maybe we could hash things out and maybe reconcile. But this is where she started demanding a public apology from me to both her and Emily. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again, Amber. You and Emily can kiss my.
Honestly, yeah, I'm kind of behind Alexis on this. I think Amber and Tommy can both get screwed because, frankly, you don't deserve Jack.
And you are absolutely brain dead if you think that I'm going to apologize, let alone publicly apologize to your girlfriend. Womp womp.
It's kind of funny that she says that Amber is brain dead, considering the fact that you willingly chose to be her friend for a whole year. I mean, that just shows you how brain dead you are too.
And once again, she is playing the part of victim Lynn and basically telling me how awful I am and how embarrassed she is and how I'm so awful and triggering her BPD. I know, Amber, I'm so terrible. I have been an absolutely awful friend to you, while I have been sitting here publicly defending you for the last year and trying to help you cover your tracks.
Friends shouldn't be covering each other's tracks, they should be holding each other accountable for their actions. And yes, I understand you want to defend your friends, but at the same time, you're definitely not justifying their actions by allowing them to do bad things. Especially when people are actually criticizing them, and rightfully so criticizing their actions. A genuinely good friend could go, hey, you screwed up, it's time to listen. If you don't listen, look, I can't stand by and allow you to continue what you're doing because, you're self-sabotaging. And honestly, the only reason you kind of got to the point where you no longer wanted to deal with it was because you're getting put on the back burner and you felt like you were, not being respected. So you weren't doing it for her benefit, you were doing it for your own benefit because you no longer wanted to deal with the issues. And I can understand that. Nobody owns each other friendship, but at the same time, don't pretend like you were trying to be a friend because you weren't. You were doing your own self-interest. And that's not how a friend acts.
Because you lie all the time and you can't keep any of your stories straight. I sat here willing to tarnish my reputation for you while getting doxxed, while having to quit my main job because of said doxing. Meanwhile, you're cashing in on our friendship and people ostracizing me.
I mean, you can't really place the blame on Amber because you're the one that chose to willingly insert yourself into the situation. And again, you bring up money for no arbitrary reason. And I get it, you seem butthurt because, you feel like you deserve some sort of slice of it, which ultimately you don't because you're the one that threw yourself into the relationship. But, at the same time, if I was Amber's friend, I sure as hell wouldn't be defending her actions, and I sure as hell wouldn't be jumping online to quickly jump to her aid. Like, she should be held responsible for her actions, and sometimes the best thing you do is stand by and watch and let her, take the accountability for once. You can't defend her actions and expect her to change when, you're defending her actions, because then why would she want to change in the first place if someone's defending her? Because she believes that she's right. If people are defending her, then, well, of course she's right, because why would people defend her if she's wrong?
So once again, she makes a demand that I step outside from the concert that I was already 2 hours late to attempt to understand Emily's perspective. Our relationship was never reciprocal in the regards of me putting my life on hold for her versus her putting her life on hold for me. And this confirms my feelings of how I always felt like her problems and her life was more important than mine.
I completely understand what she means by she felt like she was put on the back burner. Completely understand. I've dealt with those situations before. But at the same time, you have willingly admitted that you watched Amber for 5 years before you started a relationship with her. And explain to me how this is really Amber's fault. You're the one that decided to insert yourself into, the shit show that is Girl World and defend an abuser and a manipulator. Like, that was your decision, not Amber's, not anyone else's. You decided to insert yourself, and you liked it when it was just fun and games. But then when you were held accountable because you were defending an abusive person, all of a sudden now it's no longer fair, and you feel like you had to put your life on hold. No, you put your own life on hold. That's your own fault. So like, cry me a goddamn river at this point. I have no empathy for you. Same with Erica. I have no empathy with her or Brittany. And I sure as hell don't have any empathy for Amber because she took 10 years of her own bullshit and put it online. Like, boo hoo, cry me a river.
So I stepped outside to listen to her parrot the same bullshit I've been hearing for the last week. Like, I don't care about Emily's point of view. I already told you I'm not changing my mind. And with every day that passes, I like her even less. And I feel like I am genuinely being nice in this situation because I know enough about Emily to completely ruin what's left of her life. But as I've mentioned before, Tommy is a mother, and I know that doesn't come first to her, but in my opinion, a child's life and a child's well being is top priority to me. And speaking on this,
I'll give it that. Children are innocent. You leave them alone. It's kind of a hard thing having beef with someone that has a child because, especially online, there are a lot of people that will go way too far.
I received a DM from Emily's daughter's father's girlfriend who has expressed very strong concern for the well being of Emily's child.
I don't really know why this is online. This is definitely a private situation. Let's just stay private. And why is the girlfriend, contacting? Like that should be something the father should do or decide the father should do. And you're not gonna assume that she's doing it without his permission. But I'm just saying, like, I think it's something that should be worked out between the father and mother of the child. And if it comes down to it, where they can't, work out some sort of resolution, the courts may need to get involved, or some sort of child services needs to get involved. There's never a situation in which the child's private life should be aired on the internet like this. And if you believe that your child is in danger with the mother or father, then take it to the courts or take it to some sort of, organization or government assistance, whatever you may need. Like, get the police involved if you have to, if you believe the child is in some sort of danger.
She has personally asked me to not dox her or leak the conversation. And for now, I'm going to respect that. The last thing that I'm going to get into is the fact that today my partner made a comment on Amberlynn's TikTok or Instagram or whatever, basically expressing support. Now, I have only been with my ex-partner Chrissy for like 2 months. It's a long distance relationship, and
Why am I not surprised it was only 2 months and it was a long distance relationship? Like, I knew as soon as I saw the post about that comment, I knew it was gonna be something trivial. That's not even, I wouldn't even really call that a relationship. Like, that may be you just chatting online. Like, that's not even a relationship in my point of view. I think that's just stupid. And don't get me wrong, there are relationships that are long distance. There are all different types of relationships like that. Every situation is different. But these girls, they have no idea what the hell a relationship is. They don't know what commitment is. They don't know what love is. They only know drama and their own self-interest.
we haven't met in person, so I'm kind of glad this is all coming out now. And they claim that they didn't really know who Amberlynn was initially, but I'm starting to feel like that is a lie. One thing about me is, as my partner, you are not going to make me look stupid.
To be fair, mate, you're doing that all on your own. I mean, again, one whole year before you decide to break it off with an abuser as a friend. Also, you decided to try and date her in the first place. I mean, you did that all on your own because that is some high-level stupidity right there. Like, you didn't just knock on the door of Gurl World. You came in with a goddamn wrecking ball and knocked down the entire goddamn building just to insert yourself into this shit show, and you thought this was gonna end well. Like, that just shows you you're goddamn stupid.
And you are not going to support me in private and then publicly embarrass me. And you guys want to talk about clout chasing? This right here is a clout chaser. And for the last couple days, they have already been extremely combative towards me.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just there sucking up the attention too, so don't pretend like you weren't enjoying it.
Because I'm so obsessed with this Amberlynn drama and I don't care about my real life anymore. So I was sick of the backlash and I broke up with them. And honestly, Chrissy, you deserve whatever doxing happens to you at this point.
Yeah, slow down there, hypocrite. You can't just complain about being doxxed and, having to put your life on hold and then hope it happens to someone else.
So you and Amberlynn and Emily can sit on a three-way FaceTime call and yap it up about me. Because the most interesting link doesn't want anything to do with any of you anymore. For you to be so incredibly butthurt about Amberlynn sending me the explicit content that she recently sent me, and then turning around and showing support, you're irrelevant and you're fake. And I don't really care. I don't really care. And you're not going to gain any social leverage from this situation.
Absolutely zero self-awareness. She calls someone else a clout chaser and then, says that she's the most important link. And then on top of that, really tries to take someone down a peg by saying they're not getting any social interaction. Like, you have zero self-awareness whatsoever.
I hope you know that. So with that being said, I'm single now. And maybe this was a blessing in disguise. The last thing I want to say is I just want to thank you guys so incredibly much for how much support you guys have been showing me. I was honestly really scared and really skeptical, and I wasn't sure if what I had to say was going to be received well with you guys. But I am so glad that I decided to come out with everything and share my point of view. This entire situation has been really hard, losing my best friend and now my partner. And all of the overwhelming support is really keeping me from crying in the club.
Alright, thank God that train wreck video is over and done with. My head is throbbing. I don't like her personality, or just anything in general. Zero self-reflection or the inability to actually see the role she takes in part of it. At the end of the day, what she went through kind of does suck. I don't agree with doxing or, the hates or death threat or anything like that. But when you insert yourself into a shit show and you expect to get zero criticism from it, that's really your own fault. So, you kind of have to deal with that. But we're going to come back with some more videos. Hopefully you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing, anything I can improve on. Maybe videos I can watch and review, anything like that. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.